So Mo Gaudat is a Google executive, and his son passes away during holiday, and he thinks about how he can deal with this passing, how he can deal with this tragedy, and essentially what he comes to find is almost an algorithm for happiness. So they did an interview for Channel 4, and this video is going viral, and we wanted to take a look at it step by step together and kind of break down his breakdown of happiness.
Okay.
Very meta.
Happiness is in looking at the glass and seeing the truth of the glass, seeing the half full side and being grateful for it, seeing the half empty side and saying, can I do anything about it? And if not, can I accept it?
So it's just like the glass is half full or half empty thing? Is that what he's talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal analogy, like the classic, like almost, it's the classic analogy of the glass half full, glass half empty. But he's breaking it down to explain what happiness is like. And
maybe the glass is in all of us. Okay, I get it.
No, don't try to. You're doing a bad job right now. I want you to understand what he's trying to say, and then I want to ask you if you agree with it or not.
Truly, happiness is not about what the world gives you, how much water is in this glass. Happiness is about what you think about what the world gives you.
So that's really important. Happiness is about what you think the world gives you, what you think about what the world gives you.
Totally agree.
So all of the material things, material possessions or whatever, or things that are happening around you, things that are out of your control, it's actually somewhat of a stoic concept, what Mo is talking about. It's like stoicism, where you have no control over your environment. The only thing you have control over is your reaction or your feelings towards whatever is happening. And the analogy is kind of the analogy that I've seen in other places is like, for example, if your landlord told you that he was going to increase your rent and you knew that it was coming, you would be expecting it. You'd be unhappy when it did happen,
yes.
But at least you would expect it, right? But if your landlord didn't tell you, but still legally was allowed to raise your rent and didn't have to tell you, and then rose your rent, you would be much unhappier, even though it's the exact same.
I think my landlord just did that, and I was very sad.
So it's the exact same thing that just happened to you, but your reaction to it was totally different.
Yes.
And given that concept, you can look at it and realize, like, wait a minute, I have the power to decide how I will react to it, and that's exactly what he's talking about as far as happiness. It's like life gives you lemons and you make lemonade analogy, kind of.
Oh, I love these analogies.
Yeah. All right.
Happiness is equal to or greater than the difference between the way you see the events of your life and your expectation of what life, of how life should behave, right?
Get it? That's the algorithm basically for happiness. He's saying like, is your expectations of life.
It's like
and
keep your
life
expectations low, and then you'll always be really happy because you won't expect anything. So whatever you get, you'll be really excited about. It's like when my parents told me to do that when I was applying to colleges, like low expectations, high reward.
I
was not good at math, so they had to talk to me about it.
Okay.
I am not good at math.
So if life meets your expectations, you're happy. We mix two states. One of them is happiness and the other is fun. Happiness is that peaceful contentment feeling of, I like the world as it is right now. Fun is the modern world's replacement of happiness.
I think this is one of the most important parts in the entire piece is when he starts talking about fun. And I really like this. This is for me, that was my that was my most important takeaway.
I liked it too.
Was that fun is essentially artificial, and we artificially replace happiness with fun. And happiness comes from within. Fun is mostly external pleasures that we chase. So it's this, and it kind of coincides with this notion that our generation is now so focused on hedonism, and I'm a hedonist myself. So I kind of see the advantages of it, but I totally get where he's coming from.
What I was gonna say is, I'm really glad that point resonated with you.
Shut up.
I love you. Go play.
When I am unable to reach that state of happiness, what I do is I go out on the weekend and I go to a party and boom, 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 and my brain stops thinking.
When your brain goes boom, 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 does that feel good for you?
It does. But he nails it, actually. Mo doesn't strike me as the type of guy who goes out clubbing too frequently, but he totally nails it. That's one of the most important reasons why I love going out and unwinding in that way, and like dancing and everything in a nightclub is so that they can lower your inhibitions and kind of force you into your most primal urges. Like you become animalistic almost because all of your senses are essentially dulled.
They force you into a state of excessive fun. Everything is so fun. You're overwhelmed by how fun and how cool everything is. It's so excessive.
And then they shovel alcohol down your throat.
But it's not happiness. You don't leave a club being like, I'm euphoric. I mean, maybe, but like most people, you don't leave that sort of situation feeling like I have a deep fulfillment, a deep contentment, a deep peace within myself and within the way that my world exists.
Yeah.
You leave it with like, that was fun. I don't have to think about all these other things I have going on in my life right now. Thank God.
It's no different than, it's more mentally and possibly physically tasking than sitting on your couch and watching reality television.
It's true.
But it's no different than that exact same concept because you're not really learning anything. That's the reason your brain is, I think, operating at 5% when you're watching television or something like that. Like TV is created so that you shut off everything and you just focus on something that's really stupid on there on the screen.
Unless it's True Detective, because the first season I really had to use a lot of my brain to keep up.
Yeah, it was great. That was an awesome show. Good call on that.
As long as it stops thinking, I think I feel happy. Not because I'm actually in that peaceful state of happiness, but because I suspended my unhappy thoughts. I lost my son all of a sudden, like from having a happy holiday together to losing him was 4 hours. And the question that hit me at the time was, what can I do now to bring him back? And nothing I could have ever done, including locking myself in a room and crying for the rest of my life, could bring him back. And to me, the whole idea was, I can either choose to suffer, or I can choose to sort of accept life as harsh as it has become, and reset, make that the 0 point, and try to make it slightly better than it is today, make it slightly better tomorrow.
So that's the whole point. Like he's saying that you realign your base level of happiness to whatever is happening on that day. If there's a tragic event or anything like that occurs in your life, you say, this is my norm now. This is my life. And then that's your reset point. And then like every single day you focus on making your life a little bit better.
And while on its face, I absolutely agree with that. I think that, they're just seeing that, it's like he says it in like 2 or 3 sentences. And it makes it seem so easy, just like when you have a great tragedy, you have to accept it, get to your normal base state. And I think that that is good, but it's so much easier said than done.
No, but that's the reason why this resonated with me so much. And I wonder if you'll pick up on it, but that's exactly what I did after my big breakup, where I was like, this is my normal. And yes, there's always going to be a grieving period after a tragic event, right? When you feel terrible and you feel down, but that's exactly how I battled with that, and still battle with things that happen to me that are out of my control that affect me in a negative way. I think about it where I'm like, okay, this is reality now.
Yeah,
and I look at, and that's a very logical way of looking at it, even though this is a very emotional concept. So it's kind of like defeating your emotions, or not like pushing them down and repressing them, but facing your emotions in a logical way and saying like, this is reality. I can do 2 things right now. I can either wallow in my pain and grieve, and there's definitely a certain amount that should be allotted for that. That's healthy, and it's different for everyone. And I'm not saying like, for some people it's a day, for some people it's months. But after you go through that period, every moment, and this is what I tell my friends too, whenever something terrible happens, like every moment that you spend thinking about that instance, and it sets you back from doing and accomplishing your daily goals, or and living your life the best way possible, is a detriment. And you're not honoring that person when you do, even if it's like a death of a family member or anything like that. You're not honoring that person because that person's gone, right? Whether we like it or not. And if that person truly loved you, they wouldn't want you to be upset every single day thinking about them either. That's a very selfish thing. Like they wouldn't expect that from you. They would want you to live a happy life. They wouldn't want to cause you pain in that way. So that's one way to think about it, is like, this happened, and once you go through that grieving process, you sit down and you say, this happened, it is now my reality. My job is now to make every single day that comes after this a little bit better. And incremental gains in that capacity, like incremental gains eventually lead to amazing outcomes. It's the same with dieting. It's something that I just can immediately point the finger to that I can think of from my life. It's the same with like working out. It's the same with developing healthy habits. You think about being a little bit better than you were yesterday. And before you know it, 6 months will have passed, and let's say you wanted to learn Mandarin. You start off with a couple words, and every day you get better and better and better. Well, but very slowly but surely. And before you know it, in 6 months, you could be speaking, or understanding a lot more about Mandarin than you originally started off at 6 months ago.
Right. I agree with you. I just think that like it's a very constructive approach to a pain that can feel insurmountable. I think if someone had just lost a child, it might be sort of frustrating to watch this video and be like, okay, I'll just wake up tomorrow. And I agree with him, but I think it takes a while for someone to get in a point in the grieving process to be like, okay, I'm ready to move on with my life. I don't think that like the next day. I think he's a rare person. He is a rare human being.
He's crafting an argument. This is like he's trying to help people, and he's crafting an argument of like and explaining how his grieving process worked for him. He's not saying like, this is how you should do it. Go into a room and figure out that the next day that's your reality and make your focus on changing your life in a positive way. He's not saying that. That's just for his experience. And plus, this is a much longer interview that is broken down into like 2 minutes. But the idea still holds, in my opinion. The idea is still based around pretty basic concepts, and that is that if you kind of wake yourself up and realize that this is something that was this was not within your control, what happened, and stop focusing on the negatives of it and realize that like that's the reality and there's nothing you can do to change it. No matter what you do, you can't bring that person back. It's only that and then that's a way more constructive way of thinking about it than being upset. I'm not saying that it's foolish or frivolous to be sad about something, to grieve about especially a lost one. That's insensitive. I'm not saying that at all. But eventually, when the time is right, and when you do want to, when you do decide for yourself that I need to go on with my life, I need to live my best possible life, this is the best way to do that, which is establish that that is your base reality, that's what's happening, it's a reset, and make sure that every day is just a little bit better, is you're progressing a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, no one's gonna disagree with that.
Yeah, that's why I like this video.
Okay.
And we'll put a link in the description below for the entire interview. You should go check that out as well. But we wanted to hear from you. Do you think that this is an appropriate way or a good way of dealing with grief? And also, what do you think about the happiness construct that he puts out? Leave us your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm Hasan Piker. This is Grace Baldridge. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.